What if I told you that the retirement you're planning may not be the retirement you actually want or need? For years, I followed the traditional path to retirement: work, save, and someday live off that savings. But that dream is fading for many Americans. Longer life expectancy, growing healthcare expenses, and financial uncertainty are causing many of us to push our retirement later and later, and in some cases with little hope of ever retiring. But there is an alternative to escape the corporate grind and live a fulfilling senior life. Nearly 25% of Americans over the age of 50 are considering semi-retirement instead of waiting for full retirement. It's becoming one of the fastest growing trends among people who want freedom earlier without sacrificing financial stability. For many, semi-retirement is more than just cutting back on work hours. It's a smarter, more flexible retirement strategy that's helping people escape corporate burnout while building the life they truly want. Hi, I'm John, and this is Retired for Life, a channel where I share my journey through semi-retirement, second act careers, and building a lifestyle that's about freedom, purpose, and passion. This is not theory. I spent 39 years in a lucrative but stressful corporate career. As hard as I tried to follow the traditional retirement path, saving, investing, and planning for the so-called golden years, it still felt out of reach. I was constantly being told I need a huge sum of money to feel secure, which meant grinding away until at least age 65 or beyond. But here's the problem. I didn't want to keep working in a job that drained me just to chase a finish line that kept moving farther away. So, in today's video, I'll explain why semi-retirement may be a smarter path than the old all-or-nothing retirement model. I'll share how semi-retirement allowed me to escape burnout without draining my savings. And we'll explore the ways that you can start testing semi-retirement in your own life, even if you're not ready to fully step away from work. And stick with me to the end, because I'll share the biggest lesson I learned from my own semi-retirement experiment and why I believe it's the best way to transition into true financial and lifestyle freedom. Let's get started. Semi-retirement is exploding in popularity. According to a recent AARP survey, about 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 50 plan to semi-retire before fully retiring. Why? Because the traditional retirement model is broken for many of us. People are living longer, often into their late 80s, 90s, or beyond, so savings need to stretch further. Costs are on the rise, especially healthcare costs. In fact, Fidelity estimates that the average 65-year-old couple today will need nearly $315,000 just for healthcare expenses in retirement. And let's be honest, many of us simply don't want to sit around and do nothing for decades. Semi-retirement offers a middle path, enough income to cover expenses, more time for yourself, and less stress than full-time work. So let's look at my journey for a minute. I had a successful corporate career, but after nearly 4 decades, I was completely burned out. I couldn't imagine spending another 6 years plus grinding away and waiting for my official retirement age. But here's what I also knew. I didn't want 100% leisure either. I like working. I like staying busy. I enjoy using my skills, and I love learning new things. What I wanted was freedom to live life my way, to spend more time outdoors, to pursue my love of fitness, and to finally embrace my creative side. That's when I realized that semi-retirement was my best path forward. I could scale back from full-time high-pressure work and instead focus on second acts and side gigs that were more fulfilling. And if they earned me income, great. That income would keep me from dipping into my savings too early, which is a win-win. So what does semi-retirement really look like? At first for me, it meant leaving the 40 or even 50-hour work weeks behind and shifting into consulting contracts for about 20 hours a week. That generated roughly half of what I had made in my corporate job, but here's the key. It was enough to cover my projected retirement budget. And I'm not alone. A 2024 Transamerica survey found that 60% of workers envision working in some capacity during retirement, with many preferring flexible, part-time work that balances income and leisure. Common semi-retirement strategies include consulting or freelancing in your current field, part-time jobs that keep you socially engaged without the stress of full-time commitments, passion projects that earn income, such as coaching, creative work, or seasonal gigs. The beauty is you get to choose the work instead of letting the work control you. And now my semi-retirement journey is expanding. It's including creating a business and building other income streams besides using my savings. All doing things I love. I'll talk more about this in future videos, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my weekly exploration of semi-retired life. Okay, so here's what makes semi-retirement so smart. It buys you freedom without forcing you to hit an impossible savings target. And it eases the worries about outliving your money. Traditional retirement advice often says that you need 10 to 12 times your final salary saved to retire comfortably. For many, that's intimidating, if not impossible. But semi-retirement changes that math. Because you're still generating income, maybe half your old salary, or even if it was a quarter, you're reducing the amount you need to pull from your savings each year. That means your savings last longer, you get to enjoy a retired lifestyle earlier, and you avoid the trap of working extra years just to pad your nest egg that you might not actually get to enjoy. In my case, semi-retirement gave me the confidence to step away from a corporate grind that I hated into a journey of discovery and freedom without the constant fear of running out of money. But semi-retirement isn't just about money. It's about time and purpose. When I first cut back, I was surprised how much free time I suddenly had. And honestly, at first it felt kind of strange. I didn't exactly know what to do with myself. But that time was a precious gift. I reconnected with my love of fitness, and I started training and eventually became a personal trainer and wellness coach. I spent more time outdoors, and I finally tapped into my creative side by building this YouTube channel. This is another reason why semi-retirement is so smart. It allows you to test drive your future retirement lifestyle. You get to experiment with hobbies, projects, and routines and make small adjustments before fully stepping away. The way I see it, semi-retirement is not the end of your career. It's the beginning of your second act. For me, that second act included passion projects, side gigs, and finding ways to help others through wellness coaching. For others, it might mean volunteering, teaching, starting a small business, or finally traveling without being chained to limited vacation days. The common theme is this: semi-retirement lets you rewrite the script. You're no longer living someone else's version of success. You are creating your own. So here's the big lesson that I learned from my semi-retirement experiment. Retirement isn't about waiting until some number, someday, 67 or beyond, with a massive bank account. It's about creating a life you love with work that you don't need to escape from. Semi-retirement gave me a way out of burnout. It let me build confidence in my finances and gave me purpose with meaningful work on my own terms. That's why I believe semi-retirement is the smartest retirement strategy today. So that's my semi-retirement journey. Now I'd love to hear from you. Would you consider semi-retirement as a path to freedom? What fears or doubts are holding you back? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Retired for Life. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'll be publishing more videos weekly where I'll share thoughts and information about semi-retirement gigs, budgeting strategies, and how to build your own second act. Thanks for watching, and remember, retirement isn't an ending. It's the beginning of living life your way. See you next time.